Well, guys, I gotta admit, I was wrong. I did not expect that kind of performance from the Carolina Hurricanes, especially with all the players they had missing injured. What a series from the Carolina Hurricanes, defeating the New Jersey Devils 4-1. They absolutely dominated this series. There's no other way to put it. This team, just from start to finish, only the one hiccup in the middle in game three, but these guys were absolutely unstoppable.
I am wrong too. I mean, I had the New Jersey Devils to win the series in six, and obviously we were wrong. Carolina really surprised me, especially with all the injuries that they have with the top players losing Svechnikov, losing Teravainen and all these guys. But they were able to get scoring from Martin Nook and all these crazy guys.
Yeah, let's start with that. How did Carolina do such a good job of dismantling New Jersey, who had been a really good team all year long and even against the Rangers? It started for me with the depth. When we talked about this in our preview for this, we couldn't have been more wrong. We said that this is going to be likely a series where they rely heavily on the Aho and Seth Jarvis line to do all the scoring. But no, this team got so many contributions from other players on this roster, from the third line, from the second line. Like, it was unreal. Especially these three guys that really stood out to me: Jesper Fast, Martinuk, and then on top of that, old man Jordan Stahl played such a fantastic series. And these three guys, just whether it was scoring a bunch or just playing really good hard checking game, these guys just took over.
One of the X factors that we had in the preview of this series was Kotkaniemi, and he really stepped up in this series. He had 2 goals in that one game, and on top of that, he had a very key assist on that game-winning goal today. They were really good at defending. Both teams were actually pretty good at defending. To me, I thought they did slave the top four demon of especially the pairing of Brady Shea and Brett Pesci was very, very good at boxing out Jack Hughes for a lot of the series.
Yeah, me and Hohen were laughing at this. We kind of had some jokes about these guys because, first off, I'm going to admit, Carolina's top four defenders may be the best top four defensive defenders in the entire league. It's incredible. But how they dealt with some of the speed for the Devils was hilarious. You see these guys getting the puck, and these guys were already back behind their blue line in position, like tight. They were not leaving any opportunity for the Devils' speed to beat them. They weren't going to let these guys just go around them on the outside. They were already back in position every time, like tight in their own zone. And they really didn't give this Devils team much. I mean, there was 3 games in this series the Devils were only able to score 1 goal, which is just obviously not going to cut it in a playoff game.
Yeah, huge kudos to Rob Brennamore and the structure that he has implemented for this team. This is the big reason why I thought they won the series, is because they were able to use the structure. This structure that he has in place doesn't allow Devils to play their game. Honestly, what Rob Brennamore knows that New Jersey Devils thrive on their speed and their attacking team. They just didn't let them do that at all in this series.
No, I completely agree. Rod Brandamore, hell of a great series. What a good coach. I mean, he's shown us in multiple years now he's a great coach, but this really took it over the top. Getting out of round 2 for the first time in like years, because I mean, they always would win round 1 and then fall in round 2 to someone, but this was really, really a coaching dominance by Rod Brandamore. Just got to give out one more shout out to Freddie Anderson. This guy really surprised me a lot. I mean, he didn't start the playoffs in the first round. He kind of took over late in that series and had that game against the Islanders where he played pretty solid to win in game 6. But this guy was ridiculously good in this. He also had a lot of help, yes, from his defensemen playing great. But I mean, hey, when you only allow 1 goal in 3 of those games, he only had the 1 hiccup in that 8-4 game. But other than that, he was pretty much perfect.
Yeah, it just shows the difference. Carolina Hurricanes didn't have Freddie Anderson last playoffs. They ran with Antti Ranta. And it shows a big difference when you have a starting goaltender back there that can make these saves. And you can tell the team playing in front of him have a lot of confidence in Freddie Anderson. They know that this guy is going to be back there. He's going to make those saves.
Yeah, Freddie's really an underrated goalie. No offense to Antti Ranta. I mean, he's had a really good year too. I mean, technically he was right up there as one of the best goalies on the team this year. But Freddie Anderson just brings something different. He has a ton of experience. He's been around. He's played so many games, and he really just showed up for these guys. But we got to talk a little about New Jersey here. I mean, we've praised Carolina. They played great, and I think they're going to continue to play great the rest of this playoffs. But New Jersey, overall, this series, they kind of took a bit of a beating. But I think the future for this team is very bright. This is a very young team, like the youngest in the NHL. What they did this year was so impressive. I mean, a lot of people, I'd say like 99% of people did not have this team making the playoffs. If we're being real, they were debating whether they're going to be 7th or 8th in the division. But these guys really proved a lot of people wrong. And they had this really good team chemistry with each other. And I just was very impressed by it.
Yeah, this team should give themselves a big pat in the back. They had a terrific season, over 100 points, second in the Metro Division. The fact that they went to the second round of playoffs, it's very, very good for them. A very good experience for Jack Hughes and this young core. Luke Hughes had a good game, in my opinion. This game five, I thought he looked pretty good. He was jumping up in some rushes. This team has a bright future ahead of them. There's nothing to be ashamed with.
Oh, absolutely not. And man, if I'm a Devils fan right now, I would be just stoked. I mean, you already made it to the final eight with a team this young that lacked a lot of experience, but they played really hard. I mean, that series against the Rangers, they looked unreal. Obviously, Carolina kind of exposed some weaknesses in this series with just taking advantage of mistakes and some turnovers and that. But man, like Jack Hughes performing that well as a 21-year-old who is the focal point of that offense really impressed me. He was not one of those smaller players in the playoffs that disappears and becomes irrelevant. He really brought it, and I just couldn't be more proud of the kid. And then looking at some of these other guys, like Timo Meier, we all know he had a kind of a rough first series. I know I bagged on him a lot, maybe a little too much because he didn't get any points in 7 games. But he was bringing the physical presence. He was hitting. He was in front of the net a lot, which is good. I mean, really good presence in front of the net. And he did actually finally start getting the scoring go out. He got 4 points in the 5 games there, and he was actually a plus player on a team with a lot of people who are minus. So I mean, I got to give Timo Meier some credit for bouncing back after a really rough first round.
Yeah, one of the big problems, me and Scott were talking about this off air, is New Jersey Devils just had a terrible power play. I think that was the difference.
It was rough.
In this series. I mean, they scored at least 5 more power play goals on the amount of power play chances that they had. I think this series would have been a little bit different.
Yeah, there's a couple of those games where they could have maybe gotten some momentum earlier. Because, I mean, a lot of these games, like, they started out like 1-1 or 2-1 for a while, and then just Carolina would get 3 goals in like 5 minutes. And they had so much momentum, and it just carried on throughout those games. And you could tell the experience showing a little bit on Carolina's side. I mean, these guys have been to the playoffs for like 4 or 5 years in a row now. I mean, they all have been tested, battle tested. So it will be. I think it's going to be different in the future for the Devils. I see very, very positive things. This team eventually, in the next 10 years, I think is going to eventually win a Stanley Cup. They're too good not to.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Talking about Carolina just a little bit more one last time. Now we got to think about this team. I mean, they're going to be in the Final Four now, the entire playoffs. Incredible. I mean, they were obviously second best team in points in the regular season as well. It's not like it should be a super big surprise. I'm just more shocked because the injuries they've overcome. But this team, whether they play Toronto or Florida, I think they stack up really good regardless.
Yeah, I think so too. With that system that Rob Bremore has in place, I mean, in my opinion, Rob Bremore's team last year, even again when they played against the New York Rangers in that second round, I thought they should have won that series if they had Freddie Anderson in net, but they didn't. They didn't, and they still were able to drag that really good New York Rangers team to 7 games that year. So this team, I feel like Rob Bremore has a lot of skill. He has a lot of knowledge around the game, and he's gonna do what it takes to get this team to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, when you have that good of a system in place and you know exactly what your team is, like he knows what his team is. Yep. They're a bunch of hard-working, gritty, defensive style players who take opportunistic plays and put it in the back of the net. And if they can keep that up, I think they could expose either Florida or Toronto, depending who comes out of there.
Yeah, one thing I want to add about this is that Carolina is also a very patient team. I feel like they were waiting. They were just waiting and waiting until New Jersey made a mistake and then they took advantage.
Like a chess match,
It's
right?
a chess match.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like when I was watching the series. It was a chess match.
But yeah, guys, I can't wait to see what happens for this next series that Carolina's going to play because, I mean, this team's really shown us we were wrong and not to doubt them anymore. So until next time, take care and have a great day, and we'll see you in our next preview video. Take care.
Take care. Bye.